Hello, my name is Rainer Windworking-Wulff. I'm third officer in Chapter 053, Southwest Germany of CSJRC. As you know, the SJRC isn't only a club having fun together, riding our bikes, or meeting families and friends in a familiar atmosphere, but it's also a club helping people in need or in bad situations in life. Because we are interested in Native American life today, of their history, culture and so on, we decided to help Native Americans living in poor situations for a charity. The very most of you will know Native American or Indians, how they often are called, from books of Karl May with the heroes Winnetou and Old Shatterhand, or newer one of films like Dancing with Wolves. The Indians, there aren't any. They call themselves Inuit in the northern polar circle of Canada, Alaska. They call themselves First Nations in Canada, and they were called Native Americans or American Indians in the United States. The first contact between the Europeans and the Native Americans happened in the year 1600, when Spanish conquerors come into the area of today's New Mexico, and in 1620 the Pilgrim Fathers from England sailed across the Atlantic Ocean with the Mayflower, landing at the East Coast. These people, the Pilgrim Fathers, came in search for land to live their own religion, and the contact with the Native Americans were friendly first, but it changed very soon. These Europeans not only brought themselves to the new continent, but also a lot of diseases, for example smallpox. Native Americans hasn't any immune answers for these new diseases, and after that around 80% of Native Americans passed by these diseases. After the few Europeans of the Mayflower, thousands and after that millions of Europeans arrived at the new continent in search of land, mostly farmers or miners. These people throw back the Native Americans very fast westward, always in search for land or minerals like gold, and this was the beginning of warlike struggles between Native Americans and Europeans. Another problem happened when the United States government decided to build a railway from the greater cities in the east, like Chicago, New York or Boston, westwards to the Pacific Ocean. The railway was needed for the settlers and also for the miners when in the western parts of the United States were found gold and other minerals. The railway cut off the ways of the buffaloes. Buffaloes as an important thing for all prairie living Native Americans. They made the teepees or tents, they made clothes, and they took the meat for meals. The buffaloes were shot to death in 10,000s, nearly millions, and also the horses of the Native Americans or the white Mustangs were shot. So with that, the basis of Native American life was destroyed completely, and a very few native bands or nations have to go into reservations. These reservations were mostly along the railway, and it was protected by American troops. this whole bad situation sharpened when in 1820 the US President Andrew Jackson, an Indian hater, decided to remove the natives from all of the eastern areas into the west. For example, the Cherokee Indians have to leave their homes in the southeast and have to walk thousands of miles to Oklahoma. This journey was called later the Trail of Tears because of the loss of thousands of Native Americans. Thousands of them passed of hunger or snow, and when they arrived in Oklahoma, there were no homes or food for them. This all leads to the so-called Indian Wars between Native American bands or nations and the US government. Most known battle was in 1860 when Lakota and Cheyenne warriors beat the army of General Custer. This army of Custer was nearly completely destroyed, but this was only an episode. The Indian Wars ended in 1890 when the massacre of Wounded Knee happened, where hundreds of Native American women, elders and children were killed by US troops. Now let us jump into the present. Pine Ridge is a reservation in today's South Dakota, a reservation for Lakota in Maine. Lakota, also called Sioux. Pine Ridge is one of the places where you can't believe it exists. It's a reservation of 80% unemployment. It's a reservation where nobody wants to live. No trees, bad living situation, um, and a lot of more problems they have to face. Make it hard to live there, especially for children. The suicide rate is double as in the other states in the USA. Adults have an expectation of living by 40 years around, half as much as other US have. Another problem is the misuse of children by adults. Another great problem is the criminal rate, which is extremely high, and around this Native Americans have to face their life today. So in this case we want to help maybe children first. There are some schools and they are missing books and such, and we try to help out. Now we want to have another meeting, maybe in summer, maybe in fall, don't know, because of COVID-19, and you can ask or give us. In the moment we don't know when this meeting will happen. We will inform you on this side, and if you have questions about, you can ask our first officer, Kati Reuter, or me, and we will try to give you answers. Let me say thank you for this moment. Please excuse my bad or poor English. It's much easier to read than to speak. Okay, I say thank you, and we see at the meeting, or we hear from another. Thank you. Bye.